Greek islands, a cluster of over 100 islands surrounded by clear blue-green waters, hosted a special rerun of the Odysseus adventures of centuries ago. 9 teams, each with 2 competitors, will sail in a clockwise direction around 10 of these islands, known as the Greek Cyclades. Each day the teams will be presented with 2 races, which they will divide between them. So the beautiful Greek islands, a fantastic sailing yacht, 18 top-class amateur sailors, a recipe for something a little out of the ordinary. To come out ahead, each team will need to demonstrate skill, endurance, and a good team spirit. But first, a chance to break the ice and make use of the strong 35-knot winds raging through Telia Beach at Mykonos with a fun slalom. Here we see the final heat, where the racing is every man for himself. Dimitrios Pilikos of Greece and Teo Pau from Team Holland are immediately neck and neck. But on the second jibe mark, the Greek loses control and hands the lead to Pau, who heads away, closely pursued by Spiros Bambakas and Dimitrios Pilos in second and third. Pau maintains a confident and fast-driving pace to hold off their challenge and does the customary body drag over the finish line. So how's he feeling?
I'm feeling very fine, yes, you can say that. There were a few good sails, really, especially the Greece.
And so off to the Hard Rock Cafe for the first of many parties. The Minister of the Aegean Sea, Mr. Missalidis, awards the winner's trophy to Pau, wishing him luck in the coming 5 days. The next morning is the start of the team event at Odysseus Crossing, where over the next 5 days, 18 competitors will be sailing in teams of 2, representing Germany, Holland, England, and 6 Greek teams. So the competitors not sailing the first part of the journey are at the harbour, loading 27 large bags of windsurfing equipment aboard the luxurious 55-metre sailing beauty Panorama, which is to be their home. Each team is allowed a maximum of 2 boards, 1 longboard and 1 slalom board. Meanwhile, their teammates are down at Mykonos Beach, preparing for the start of this first leg, Mykonos to Delos. And what are their expectations?
Today is really a different discipline. I'm not really used to it, to do this long distance.
Not happy really, because I've got too small a sail. All the other guys have got really big sails. Hopefully if the wind picks up, I might have a win with a chance, but if the wind keeps on this light, it's going to be pretty difficult. You know, it's going to be very hard work pumping.
So the first leg of the journey is underway. These sailors are heading some 15 miles to Delos, where they would normally switch with their teammates who would sail the next stretch. This first day, however, is dogged by light winds, allowing this leg only to be completed. The sailors have all taken 10-metre sails, with the exception of the English team. Adrian Bacon is totally underpowered and pumping hard with his 7.5-metre sail. The first victory goes to Greek team Stelios, but as light winds dwindle further, all the exhausted competitors are brought back to the Panorama, where the team from England note the main difference for them about this event.
Usually the competitions we do are like based on the south coast in a hut, and this time we're on a 54-metre yacht, so that's just a tiny bit of a difference.
And what a hardship. But with no wind, the Panorama powers its shipmates from Delos to the island of Paros, a lively party town, and sailors take the opportunity to go ashore and check out the bars and restaurants. Preparation starts early the next morning, and the sailors explain what this adventure means to them.
There's one really good thing in this race, and this is very new, this idea of a team. That, okay, you make the first trip, the first step in the morning, and then you can relax and help your friend doing the second trip, and you are feeling with him, and but you're sitting on the boat relaxed.
It's really different because we now sail competition in a team of 2 people. So it's really different because the guy who actually where I'm sailing with is always, normally I always sail against him.
It's very frustrating, really, because if your partner isn't as good as you, it's like, I don't know, it's a bit, depressing, really.
So, with mixed feelings perhaps, those on the Panorama cheer their teammates on to victory for the first leg on day 2, Paros to Naxos. The distances involved are variable, as are the winds in this area. Equipment choice at the start of the day is crucial, though it could be switched before the next leg of the day. Perhaps the toughest factor is that most of these legs would be sailed on one tack only. Sailors locked into one stance for long periods of time, with no chance to ease the strain on their muscles. Once again, we will see that Stelios sails in for his second win, firmly establishing his Greek team in the number 1 slot. We talked with his delighted partner, Philippus, who must surely be feeling that he couldn't have made a better choice of teammate.
Stelios took part in 2 Olympiads, in Seoul and LA, so he's really experienced.
So, Stelios has grabbed 2 out of 2 for his team. Now it's the turn of Philippus to sail.
Now we have to stop laughing, start working.
An exhausted Stelios. Philippus goes to help his teammate, who is grateful to relieve his hands of the strain of pumping in these low-wind races. Straight into the next leg, with the sailors nicely refreshed from their morning on the Panorama. But they'll need it. Whatever the wind conditions, a light sea breeze or blowing 50 knots, these sailors will have to negotiate the open channels between the islands to get the edge over the other teams. So here, extremely light winds, meaning the bigger the sail, the better. And this is where teamwork makes all the difference.
I told him you have to go bigger because I sailed the last race. I sailed with 8 meter, and now he goes with a bigger one, and he won.
So he can buy you the drink tonight?
No, I buy him a drink.
Theo has pumped up a first place for Team Holland, and Nikos Skarlatos takes a second place for his Greek team. With Dimitris Philos in third, Philippus is down in 7th place, obviously not enjoying the light winds and bringing their team results in reach of the other teams. So after a tough day, the sailors load their equipment back on board the Panorama and head off towards the port of Ios as evening descends. So the host country holding on to first place, but knocking on their door in second is Holland, and down in 6th place the United Kingdom. Ios comes alive as the sun sets, but this night no sailors are seen. These Greek islands are always a party, sailors or no sailors. The next morning is the leg from Ios to Sikinos. The sailors leave the Panorama for a trip by boat to check the winds outside the port to help make their decision for what equipment to take. It looks like the wind has finally arrived, but what's the verdict?
It's really windy out there. It's gusty out of the Gulf. The waves are picking up now. I think we'll use the small board.
This is the normal conditions. Thank God they're here. I feel like home now.
Graham's not that good in strong winds, I'm more of a strong wind sailor than Graham, so really I should be doing this leg. Hopefully the next leg will be windy as well, and it'll even out the positions. We'll have to wait and see. Graham might do well.
hopefully get a good result. We'll just have to wait and see how it turns out.
I'm ready for it. Just getting nervous.
By the start, the wind had gathered to a force 6, and once out of the shelter of the harbour, sailors were to discover mountainous 12-foot seas. This is a short leg from Ios to Cyclades, and with good strong winds, we might see a change in the leaders. We catch up with Kute and Kostas, who are discussing their team's tactics.
Everybody tries for this gusty wind a longboard, and his team, they use a slalom board, and we are discussing about the risk.
It was the only choice. We had to use something different than everybody else because these past 2 days, because of no wind, we didn't have good places. So it's our only chance to make some distance from the other.
Double or nothing.
Yes.
Kostas' teammate seems to be handling the conditions well, but he will need to keep his own tactics in mind during the race, as they will be very different from those of other sailors. For the first time, the sailors are truly tested. Kostas is vigilant of his teammates' progress.
I think he has done a big mistake following the big boards, because big boards were coming close to the beach in order to have less wind than this one and less waves. He should come downwind directly to the Gulf, but now he jived. Maybe, I don't know yet what's going to happen.
Unfortunately for Kostas and Yanis, it doesn't look like their gamble paid off. There's no sign of Yanis on his slalom board as Ron Reuter notches up another Dutch victory. One of the youngest competitors is Niklas, who had been leading in this race and looks to have made a mistake going into the finish line, starving him of a victory here and giving him a brilliant but probably disappointing second place yet again. So what did the Dutchman think of the conditions?
It was much wind, so I expected to go well, but yeah, winning is always hard. So and the guy in front of me make a little mistake at the end, so I won.
I was coming in first, made a mistake at the last tack too early. The other Holland guy got me at the end.
A steady force 5 from Cyclades to Foligandros and some great sailing. The beautiful islands of the Cyclades, nestling in the southern Aegean, offer a host of beauty spots for both tourists and sailors. Back on the panorama though, a surprise party thrown by the competitors for Ron's birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ron. Happy birthday to
you. Strong winds continue the next morning on day 4, as sailors prepare for the leg from Foligandros to the island of Milos. And as the sailors are expected to be much faster than the panorama, it leaves before the race has even started. The start line for this race is outside the confines of the harbour, and tension increases into the last days of competition. Camaraderie and team spirit have been somewhat heightened. But after the start, not everyone's anxiously awaiting their teammates' return. Taking the opportunity to relax and take in the gentler things in life aboard this luxury yacht. As the finish line comes into sight, everything is dropped, and sailors look out to where a drama is unfolding. Philippus explains.
There was a collision that cost my teammate the first place, and I'm afraid there's going to be a protest now. But of course, that's not the way we like it, huh?
I don't know what happens really, because if Ron is leading, like a centimeter in front of him, then he don't have to do it anymore, because there are new rules in the PBA, and it says you can go where you want. If the crease guy wins this protest, yeah, there's no chance to win anymore. That's really bad because we have so good relationship between the competitors and all things.
I was going by and he doesn't want me to go by, so he started luffing. Go up, 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 but it's only allowed to luff when his mast is in front of mine. Otherwise, I can see him, and so I was really in front of him. So he hit me on the board, and then my mast fell on his nose. We fell both.
It's crazy to have one race about 15 miles and you make a foul in the last 100 meters. It's crazy.
You have the priority, you keep on your course. You never go downwind to hit the other. So this will give me the decision. Ron's boat went downwind when the other one went upwind. He can keep the course, but he went downwind, like looking for a cross. This can give me a result, and it is against Ron.
So matters have become pretty serious indeed for this next part of the journey, an upwind leg from Milos to Sifnos. Following this protest, Team Holland get a disqualification, and the Greek team duo Stelios and Philippus rack up another first place. Before the start of this last race, these two teams were neck and neck for points. But with this major setback for Team Holland, the results seem determined, or do they? Sailors are left to forge their way ahead, using the merest sea breezes. Some are having difficulty deciding which direction the wind is coming from, as their sail fills in whichever tack they put it on, their boards stubbornly refusing to move anywhere. A good result here from Philippos would assure his team the winner's trophy, but then victory is never that easy. Adrian is working hard, but his equipment just isn't adequate for these unusually light winds. Company arrives. These delightful creatures playfully involve themselves with the race in progress. However, popping up so suddenly gives some of the competitors a bit of a scare.
When I raced, I saw some fins, and I thought, gee, what's this? And there were dolphins. So I thought I saw some 3 or 4 dolphins around me, just 5 meters in front of me. So that was really exciting.
But what was your initial reaction?
I thought, shit, there were sharks.
Further surprises are ahead, as the light winds offer a twist to the tale. A delighted Dimitris, who partners Spiros, both from Greece, takes his first victory. With a totally pumped out Theo in second, but what of Philippus?
The wind dropped during the race, and the guy who was his teammate, who did the protest against him, didn't finish within the time limits. Is it? So he also get the same points as Ron did. So that makes it even a little bit. So there are, chances left.
I don't know for sure, but I heard just 5 minutes ago that we are now in second place and within a few points from the number 1. So if we sail well tomorrow, it's possible to win the whole event.
So arriving into Sifnos after 7 rounds, Stelios and Philippos still lead. The Dutch team still in second. And the Greek team, Niklos and Babis, turn in early.
So it was a tough one for you too?
Yeah, sure. There's no wind. I was puffing all the way up here.
Yeah, me too. I had some wind, but it didn't come.
But there was no wind on the second leg. I'm really exhausted.
So I get the first leg tomorrow.
Yeah, sure.
Don't think you can get it?
No, I'm trying to get some sleep now. What are you doing here? Get out. I'm trying to get some sleep.
Get out. We've got to sleep now. Out. Dum spiro spero.
Philippos' parting words to Stelios. A confident premonition or a tip for his partner? We're not sure, but what tips do the other sailors have for their teammates?
Just beat those guys. That's the only advice.
Giving everything he's got. We're going third overall.
All these islands look very similar, so you've got to remember exactly where you're going. It's so difficult. The Greek team have got such a large advantage because they've done the event before and they know where they're going. So basically, if you're in the lead, you've got a big problem.
A fact all too painfully realised by Dutch team member Ron in the next race from Sifnos to Antiparos.
I was sailing and I was doing very good. I was a lot faster than the rest, so I was sailing alone on the head and I did not know where to go to. So I was sailing by the finish place. I didn't see it. So I was going to the next island, which was Paros. So really blew it this time. That's the negative about doing something in a team, that when you blew it for your partner.
Now I think we're first. We only need the fourth place or fifth, and then we're through.
So Team Holland's lack of knowledge of the islands cost them a first place here. As Adrian explained, when you're out in front, you have to know where you're going. Perhaps this is a tough one to take after sailing so well, but navigation and knowing when you've reached the scheduled destination is all part of the racing. The last leg of the Odysseus Crossing, and a fired-up Theo Pau sets off with determination for the final destination, Paros. Fiercely pursued by Dimitris Papanaklis and leading team member Stelios Georgiosopoulos, the conditions were radical. Pushed by winds of force 6, the waters were smooth until sailors reached the open channel, where they were met by mountainous walls of water and filming became impossible. Theo Pau, perhaps motivated by their team's unfortunate setbacks this week, storms over the finish line, a clear winner. But is it enough to take the overall prize? Where is Stelios? That's Dimitris Papanaklis crossing the line in second, bringing his team up to fourth place overall. And here's Stelios, coming in third place, comfortably assuring his team of the first place overall for the Kronenberg Odysseus Crossing. The Greek team of Stelios and Philippos were obviously delighted with the result.
To tell you the truth, for me, it started as a holiday, but things got really tense in the last 2 days. We've made 2 stable races today, and so we won.
A little bit disappointing, and yeah, knowing that we don't get first anymore. But go for it, just go for it, and let those guys see that you are really good.
We're invited to do it next year again, and I'm looking forward to it.
The mayor of Marbisa, Mr. Giotis, presents the Kronenberg Odysseus Crossing winners' trophies to the Greek team of Stelios and Philippos. And so, after a week of intense competition, the atmosphere is clearly relaxed. The sun finally sets, closing the Kronenberg Odysseus Crossing. The adventures are over and Greece is victorious.